So, what's the benefits of trying to integrate your voice of customer program with other tools such as your CRM and analytics? I wanted to do just one slide on this, but I figure it's got to last 10 minutes. It's effort in versus results. It really boils straight back down to how can I actually use my time more effectively to drive business value? That's what it's always about. So you can start to look at doing lots of complex, different ways to look at it, but simply, can we get to answers or solutions faster? So what type of integrations can we look at? How can we start to drive that value? Well, let's take this example. At EE program that Sean and I rolled out, we were doing persistent feedback. We wanted to make sure that we could get basically actionable data. We wanted to correlate it with our clickstream data. And quite simply, we take our survey, we take our little comment card, and we start to, in real time, pass that information to our analytics. We can see in real time what are our customers actually telling us, what problems do we have, are they experiencing 404 errors, are they starting to experience low satisfaction or poor task completion. We can model that in real time. Now, you can start to move well beyond that, but where's the value? How can you deliver this sort of value? Well, actually, your clickstream data might show that you've got a drop in your conversion within your checkout, as we touched on earlier, but we can correlate that directly to comments. So actually, what we start to find is our customers are telling us exactly where the problems are. We don't need to do the analysis. They're telling us where to look. And that's often the number one thing is, actually, there could be 1 million problems, but what is the real thing? And in this case, we were able to identify that our gateway for our third most popular browser in Chrome was actually not loading properly. Our customers told us that. It helped us get to solution faster. So how can you go beyond that? How can you start to use that in a more constructive way? Well, let's start to theme what of our core problems for our detractors. So Sean talks about NPS or Net Easy Score. We'll start to use these scores and then start to basically group or theme what are the real drivers for low satisfaction or difficult tasks. And as you see here, here's a snapshot of where our core areas that we can start to focus on and start to try to fix. This helps product owners drive product improvements and as a business start to deliver more value for that customer. We can then start as analysts to start to look at that data from a clickstream point of view. Are there particular journeys or actions that those set of users are going down? Where do those problems start to occur? And what we start to then do is say, well, actually, it can go well beyond this. Start looking at it from another point of view. Can our customers start to identify things that within clickstream data we find really difficult to actually see, i.e. customers start to go through looped journeys. So at EE, when we rebranded and relaunched our website, we were merging 3 brands together simultaneously. What we forgot to do, not very well, was think about our old customers. We had Orange and T-Mobile customers who were used to using one type of website, and we've pushed them to this brand new website that is really good for EE customers, really, really bad for legacy customers. Yet those were the ones that were still paying our bills. So it's not about looking at the data in any one particular way, but it's about sharing that information contextually across multiple tools so each view becomes more enriched. And as you can see here, we then can start to take any of those comments and actually start to path the journeys that customers are taking. We now can start to identify what the actual journey that customer went through. We can path all of that information and find the real root cause, common journeys that are driving the biggest dissatisfaction. How might we go beyond that? How can we start to use that information in real time in a more, basically automated way? Well, one of the solutions and one of the things that we were able to identify at EE was simply this, that when anyone used keywords such as call, text, or contact, they were coming to the website because they couldn't get through to our call centers. They couldn't reach us. And those were our biggest dissatisfaction, from a dissatisfaction point of view or a detractor point of view, those people had minus 90 NPS, almost as bad as it can get. So what we started to do is on the dynamic thank you card for our surveys was actually pop up a live chat and start to engage with those users. what we find is that in real time, we can actually start to move satisfaction by as much as 20 points. So we've, as Sean touches there with Apple, you start to engage those customers through means that and actually drive tangible value and results in real time without having to actually an analyst to process that data. You can use your tools at your disposal and link them together. Where does the integration start or where does it stop? Integration can go well beyond using your digital teams or your digital tools. You can start to reach out on how you work with your email team, how you start to work with your call center teams, how you start to work with your in-store kiosk or in-store till receipts. How can you start to collect information from multiple different sources that says voice of customer is not just about digital voice of customer, it's about your business program. How can we drive satisfaction and improvements across all of these different areas? I use a snapshot example at the bottom here where how common is it that your media team or your marketing team start to use TV adverts that when they then land on a digital property, that message is not there. There's no psychological alignment between what we're saying in one channel and what we're doing in another, and that drives customer into dead journeys. So what are the core benefits when we start to look at this? Fundamentally, we should be able to drive revenue increases by listening to customers and delivering incremental improvements. But we should be able to drive operational efficiencies by actually reduced effort and time to find root cause analysis to problems and contextualize them. Being able to tell a story to your executives and your stakeholders are hugely important. People want to understand not what's happening, why it's happening, and how can we fix that. I'm going to let Sean now wrap up.
Thank you. I appreciate it's now 3 minutes before drinks start getting served, so I'll be very quick on this. So the key wrap-up pieces from all of this. Integration can often seem a very dry topic, so I wanted to finish off on a few key points. Firstly, accept that your baby may be ugly when you go through these things. It'll give you a greater willingness to want to change and listen as you go forwards. And on that, be prepared to watch and listen to your customers. Far too often with these projects, they fail because of internal politics. People don't actually want to know the truth and actually get stuff done. Those companies will fail because their customers will leave them. Don't be one of those companies. Try to ensure an ongoing measurement framework. So analytics isn't a one-stop thing. It's not something you implement and then leave. The whole purpose is about its investigation. It's about learning and improving as you go along. Try to create remarkable moments. I've not really touched on this, but when you get to the end of a process, try to finish on a high. We're finishing on a high by going to have drinks after this, so hopefully that's a remarkable and memorable moment. Act quickly, and as Roman says, when we first launched the Voice of Customer data, not only were we moving from quarterly reporting, we moved right through to real-time reporting of people that had problems, and then further integrating that directly with the live chats, so that people that were saying they were having problems, we could respond to directly. And be willing to move stuff forward, be very, very willing to go forwards. Unfortunately, that's a duplicate slide going through from there. But try to get an advocacy as you go through. Create understanding, measure that, fix and move on, then create advocacy with your customers and gradually grow as you go forwards. Other than that, I'll say thank you for myself and I'll pass back to Nicolas for the book.
To Roman. Roman, so we had the last question. We had one book for the last question. So why did you choose this book?
So again, I'm not a big advocate of analytics or technical orientated books. Everything that we're doing is focusing on users and customers. So this book focuses on psychological principles on how our mind tricks ourselves, how you can start to influence people by doing very subtle changes and actually getting the behaviors that you really want from the end user. So start to think about how you can start to leverage mindsets and leverage these different things. And this book really touches on it quite well. It's nicely distilled down into 50 different concepts.
So do you have a last question for this book? Someone that is not shy? Yes.
Thank you for the conference. You said that you're integrating every voice of consumer, but that implies that all of your consumers are telling the truth. And don't you think that not all of them, but a part of them can lie to you? And because they know they are tracked, they know you link your data with your CRM. So they know you know who they are and they can lie to you.
There's every chance a customer is going to lie. It's common that people would exaggerate. The whole point in any of these programs, just like digital analytics, is trying to track trends, is trying to identify opportunities. So what voice of customer or digital analytics are really good for is driving incremental improvements. It's rare to drive innovation from it. So when you start to think about what the whole purpose is, it's coming about saying, how can we identify the opportunities faster? When you start to look at things in aggregate rather than at a granular level, and this is where, integration on a one-to-one level, I'm not a big fan of. I know the world goes crazy for personalization. Your biggest wins are going to come in your aggregates. So if 25% of people are saying this is an issue, there's a damn good chance that that's where your issues lie and where your opportunities lie. So you have to always look at things in the mindset of saying, how can we get to revenue growth faster? And revenue growth generally means that we're driving better experiences and improving the customer experience.
Do we have one last question? Or are you all ready to go for drinks? We can already listen to music. So I would like to really thank Roman and Sean to travel today to visit us. They came specially for seeing you tonight, for delivering this wonderful keynote. So Sean traveled 7 hours. 7 hours of train. One way, 7 hours. So now tomorrow you're traveling 7 hours. So you were a bit closer in London.
Yeah, and then Brussels on the way back.
And then you're going to Brussels. And so we really appreciate you came. So we have some special gifts for you. So we brought you some pastries from Mert. Mert is a very famous pastry in Lille. And Charles de Gaulle, the General de Gaulle, was born in Lille. And these were his favorite pastries. So we wanted you to have a good souvenir from Lille. So thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much everyone for attending this show, and hope to see you next year, and we can go to the aperitif right now. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Cheers.